Hey, what's up? It's Davis from the Project Ironman Canada 2020 slash I Will Not Bonk documentary or blog or video documentary or whatever you want to call it. We are now done with week one, finally. It's, I believe, 47 weeks to go, 320 some odd days, I believe. And this is the week one wrap up. So I think what I'm going to do and how this is going to work is at the end of each week, I'll basically compile all the training data into a summary video like this. We'll hop onto the computer in a second. We'll go over the various workouts or sessions. And then what I also want to cover is beyond the training is briefly go over sleep and briefly go over nutrition, not like my daily consumption, but only the nutrition that was used for whatever the training session was. And what a lot of people are most interested in is, of course, the expense. So on a weekly running total basis, break down if I go for a ride or run, how many gels did I take, what liquids did I use, and then break that down on a week by week or a monthly basis, and then see what that flushes out to by the time we get to Ironman next year. And I have no idea what that's going to be, but anyway, we're all on this together. So let's hop on over the computer and let's go over some stuff. Okay, folks, welcome back. Here we are on my laptop, and we are looking at my Training Peaks dashboard. So obviously this is like week one, so not a heck of a lot of data to show. However, obviously I've been training for the better part of the year, although this project is kind of starting off or kicking off October 1 for the next 47 some odd weeks or 200 some odd days. I can't remember what it was, but there's a whole bunch of stuff that happened prior to October 1, obviously. But for the purposes of this project, we're kind of more focused on what's going to happen, what has happened or is going to happen from October 1 onward. So maybe a little tiny bit of background. I have here, this is from January 1st till the end of the month. As you can see here, over the course of this year, I've done a whole bunch of stuff. We won't get into the nitty-gritty of this because nobody cares, or I don't think most of you people will care. But I wanted to point out that this year it was more of a bike focus year for me. So in the recent months, you can kind of see, like, for the bike, if we look here, like since the beginning, end of last year, beginning of the year, this is total amount of hours per month that I spent on the bike. So obviously very heavy, kind of going into last winter, spending a lot of time on the trainer, doing a lot of Zwift rides. And then as kind of spring kind of approached, a little less time on the bike and a little bit more running as I was training to do a marathon in September. So what ended up happening for that was, in terms of run focus, you can see that, very little running, January, February, March, April, 9 hours, 8 hours in May, June, I only did an hour 22 in June. That's kind of crazy. Anyway, and then July, it was kind of one of those oh god moments where I realized that I got a marathon coming in September, so cranked things up in August. So only ran like a total of 17 hours, 17 and a half hours in August. And in September was the marathon. Miraculously, I actually PB'd my marathon. Thankfully, probably more to the bike training that I was doing. And that was because in July of last year was the Grand Fondo Axel Merckx, which is an amazing event. I'm kind of biased because I do help with that event, but in any case, that was in June. Tons of time on the bike, not so much time on the run, hour and 22 minutes. However, somehow the fitness from the bike did end up translating over to the run, which was great, and ended up having a decent run. So again, right now, because it's only, really it's only this, 1 month or 1 week of data right now. I mean, October I've done, 4 hours of cycling, pretty much on the trainer. And in terms of running, I've only got the 2 hours from last month here, and then I think I've only got a couple runs in since the weekend. So I just did a run today. Which, if you guys are following me, if you haven't had a chance yet, follow me on Strava. You can find me pretty easy. Just look me up, Tavis Young. And in terms of what I did today, I ran 7 miles, aiming a mile. Did a ride yesterday. Actually, maybe what I'll do is, let's see, if I go into my, so I can connect my, sorry, technical difficulties here. I'll bring up my Garmin Connect, and then maybe you can see what is going on. Okay, maybe once this hooks up at some point. Okay, so here's my Garmin calendar. So in terms of start of the whole project thing, I mean, really it started kind of here. So that was I did a ramp test, which you kind of saw in one of the beginning videos. Actually, I'll put a link to the video at some point of the actual ramp test. It's quite comical. And then I rode on the Sunday with Greg. I think Monday I had a run, and then Tuesday was a day off. Wednesday also bike indoors on the trainer. Thursday bike indoors on the trainer. Friday did a hill kind of interval workout on the trainer. Yesterday was about 2-hour ride, and today was the 7-mile run. So that that pretty much is what we're at right now. It's 1 week worth of training. It kind of breaks down into let's see. Well, I think this week it should show somewhere in here. This week 19.1 miles, 2 hours and 35 minutes of running, and cycling, well, fairly decent cycling, 165 miles, 8 hours and 25 minutes total. So that's week 1. Again, since this is kind of like, experimental and in the beginning stages, I'll definitely try to make this a little more interesting, and the efficiency at which I do this, and how I produce this, and how I record, and how I document, I think it'll be a lot better. One thing I did want to point out was, in terms of running, some people have asked, how did I have a great marathon, or how did I PB in my marathon? One big focus I've been doing over the last year in my training has been running with power. So instead of the typical, run based on pace or run based on heart rate, I've been using what's called a stride power meter, and that measures power with the run. So as an example, this is the dashboard of the stride power meter. Check it out, stride.com. And as an example, this is what it looks like, after it records all the run information. Shows per mile or per lap what the wattage was, what the time was, distance, pace, all that kind of stuff. Again, you can look all this stuff up online. Check out stride.com. I think DC Rainmaker has an great review on what running with power is all about. There's a couple great books. I'll put a link down in the description as well of some of the books that I've read, and why you might want to train with power. I could probably dedicate a whole nother podcast or vlog or whatever you want to call this, just to running with power. But it is something that helped me have a much better run. So something you definitely want to take a look at. Okay, so next, now again, we're only 1 week in, but I think what everybody is really interested in is the expense side of things. So here's an Excel sheet. What I'll do is, if you, on the iwillnotbonk.com website, if you drop your email address in there, what I will probably do at some point in the very near future is send everybody a link to a Google Doc, which will have the ongoing running total cost of all this stuff. There will be some things that I will probably hide, but for the most part, you will get an idea of what the expenses have been. And what I'll be breaking down are basically equipment, nutrition, and when I say nutrition, that is food consumed as a direct result of whatever that training session was. So I'm not talking like breakfast or lunch and dinner if it's not directly related to the ride or the run. It's pretty much what I've consumed during the run or during the ride. So having said that, there's a couple other things here. Leisure wear, so like t-shirts. I don't know. I think this is I picked up a t-shirt when I registered for Ironman. Kit. So this would be bib shorts or cycling gear, cycling kit, that kind of stuff. Repairs for the bike, obviously. Miscellaneous. This would be could be anything from vitamins, supplements. Random things that I decide to pick up that might have something to do with training. And one of the big expenses back in July was Ironman Canada registration fee, which was $912.06. So if you add all this stuff at this point, inclusive of the registration in July, I have a couple items in here in September because I had to replenish a couple of the things. But as you can see, total of equipment, $1,250, nutrition, $60 roughly, leisure wear, $45, kit. So this is actually a Roca dry suit that they had a year-end sale. So anyway, I picked up a new dry suit. Repairs is I think the helmet liner for one of my helmets. Miscellaneous, I'll have to check what that is. Actually, I know exactly what that is, but again, I will share that at a later time. All the actual breakdowns of what all these costs are. In much more granular detail of what these numbers and what all of the things are that actually make up this amount. And of course,
fees so far $912. So again, this is just week one, right? So, or essentially month one. We're right into the very beginnings. I'm sure this number is going to balloon. Well, I know it's going to balloon, but for example, if I turn off one of the filters here right now, I've got filtered everything just for September and October and the registration fee in July. If I kind of include everything that I've spent this year, again, I'll break down the stuff in some other video, but this is beginning of the year software memberships, whether it be Zwift, whether it be Trainer Road, whether it be Training Peaks, all those things, yearly subscriptions. I forgot I got to put my gym membership in here, so that's every month that's like $30 a month. So when you add all this stuff up, I mean, we're looking at so far for this year in terms of athletic endeavor or costs directly related at this point as of October the 6th, 2019, basically $5,000, a little over $5,000, just for again, nutrition, software, memberships, registration fees, miscellaneous bits of equipment that I've had to pick up. This actual in September, end of September, same thing. Roca had a sale. I bought a new wetsuit. Did I really need a new wetsuit? Well, I could probably argue yes, as the last wetsuit I had I used when I did Ironman Canada 2010, so 10 years old. And it was long overdue for replacement. So anyway, they had a great end of year sale, so pick that up. That's $955 Canadian. Yes, that's expensive. Again, the whole point of this is not to kind of imply that you need to buy all these things. You absolutely do not. However, I am just logging and documenting all the things that I've acquired or again will acquire over the next year as we approach Ironman 2020. So anyway, yeah, so that's week one. Today is October the 6th, Sunday. Hope everyone's had a great week. As we head into the fall, weather's starting to get a little cooler, starting to get a little rainier, especially here in Vancouver. And it gets darker much earlier, so any of you guys that are out there, guys and gals out there riding or running at night or commuting, please be careful. This is the time where there's all sorts of idiot drivers out there. They don't care. They don't see you. It's almost like they don't want to see you. I don't know what it is, but I've nearly been killed at least like 5 or 6 times in the last couple months. My parents probably don't want to hear that, but anyway, just please be careful and be safe, be smart, train hard, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.